Okay, Shout Studio. So what I want you to do is take the 4K, also give us a standard edition with a nice slipcover. Also, what I want you to do is create about 2 to 3 more special features for this to make a real complete collector's edition. Now listen really closely, Shout Studios. Now, when I say that I want these things, I want them, and I don't want to have to ask again. Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media Channel. Guys, look, I'm going to have extra steady hands to do this 4K review today. Today, we are talking about Nightcrawler on 4K, guys. This is coming to us from Shout Studios in a nice steelbook edition. Do you guys like steelbooks out there? Because that seems to be all we're getting now in 2026. Everybody's just doing steelbook exclusives, which I'm definitely going to give my thoughts on that later on in this review. I've been waiting for this to come to 4K for the longest time. I've had this Blu-ray right here, I want to say since 2017, since pretty much I got back into collecting. This was one of the first Blu-rays that I added to my collection. I've actually got a nice slipcover for this as well. Nightcrawler is a film that I discovered on Netflix, I believe, probably around 2015. It was a very interesting time for me in movies. I was watching a lot of stuff on streaming. I had a pretty good sized DVD collection at that time, but I wasn't really actively collecting. It wouldn't have been till like 2016, 2017 that I got back into collecting and I started my collection again with Blu-rays. So at this time, like I was just watching a lot of stuff on streaming. I was watching a lot of stuff on Netflix, really getting into that. At that time, like I was just so out, I feel like, of mainstream movies and that whole scene. It was just all Transformers and Harry Potter and Twilight and Hunger Games. And yeah, there were other films, but comedies were kind of dying. That was a big genre for me in the 2000s. So I just didn't feel like there was any movies for me anymore. Like horror really wasn't that great around that time. But then like 2014, 2015, I started watching all these movies on Netflix. I'm like, oh, movies still are good. Like there's still good movies out there. And this was one of those movies that made me a believer in that and kind of brought me back into cinema after I would say maybe like 5 or 6 years of me just being like kind of done. This is one I've been talking about wanting a 4K of for such a long time. And when this was first announced, I was very negative about it because I'm like, oh, Shout Studios is doing it. That's not what I want. Oh, it's a steelbook only. Oh, I don't like the artwork. I was like finding every excuse to not want to get this and add it to the collection. And I was like, you know what? It was getting ready to come out. I was like, I'm going to get this because it's a movie I've been wanting to come to 4K. At the end of the day, that's why I am wanting these movies to come to 4K, just for the picture quality, right? Like that's what we want at the end of the day. Like that's should be the most important, but also I care about packaging. I care about special features. I can't lie about that. That stuff is important to me. And this has got a new special feature. It's got a new audio commentary. There is stuff to get into with this one, but my dream release for Nightcrawler ever since the movie Drive came out, which is another movie I discovered around that time. Ever since that movie came out from Second Sight, I was like, damn, a 4K box set edition of Nightcrawler would just be perfect for Second Sight. I still feel that way, and I still hope that that happens at some point, and we get like 5 or 6 new features, maybe an interview with Jake Gyllenhaal, maybe an interview with Dan Gilroy, the director, some other people that worked on the movie, because I think that there's more to talk about with this film and its importance on the cinematic landscape in the mid 2010s, because I think this movie would go on to inspire so many movies heading into the 2020s. So I think that there's more stories to tell about Nightcrawler, and I want to see a better edition of this come out. Okay, but again, it got announced for 4K. I've been wanting it to come to 4K. I got to put my money where my mouth is, and I got to support this release and get it. So I did end up ordering this off of Amazon. It's going for $33 right now, which is not a bad price for what you get here. We'll talk about it, but it's not a bad price. This movie, like I said, it came out in 2014 starring Jake Gyllenhaal. You have got one of the final performances. I don't think it's the final performance, but it's one of the last like big final performances from Bill Paxton. He's in this movie. He's very good in this movie. I love Bill Paxton in this film as kind of like the rival Nightcrawler in LA. But you got Jake Gyllenhaal, you got Rene Russo in this film. This is a really good Rene Russo role. I feel like she wasn't really given a lot of opportunities around this time, still isn't. I don't feel like, but she did a really good job in this film. Riz Ahmed, a very early role for him. He would kind of get more popular as the years went on. But Jake Gyllenhaal is really the star of this film. And this is directed by Dan Gilroy, who hasn't really done a lot since this film. I wanted to see him do more for sure. He did a movie on Netflix in 2019 called Velvet Buzzsaw. And I don't know if anybody saw that because it kind of came and went. I did not like the movie. It was just very like tonally all over the place. But this film follows Jake Gyllenhaal. He is the character of Lou Bloom. And he's a guy that's just going around doing these little jobs. He's basically a thief, like he's stealing stuff and trying to sell it, but he's trying to get by in Los Angeles. And he's just a very like seedy, just kind of despicable character. There's something very untrustworthy about him as a person. There's something going on there. He's very mentally unstable. And he just kind of falls into this work of going around and night crawling, which is basically capturing footage of horrific accidents for the news. These people go around, they get the footage before the news crews get there, before even the cops get there in some cases, and they get this horrific footage of the crash, of the people, sometimes all mangled up. In this movie, in this case, like there's shootings, there's like home invasions. He goes inside the house, he gets like footage of dead bodies, and he's selling this stuff to the news to air to make money. And that kind of leads him down a very dark path. It gets into the territory of where he's like manipulating certain situations, and this causes more death and chaos and destruction. And it just gets into some really, disturbing areas. But it is such a great film. Jake Gyllenhaal was robbed of an Oscar. I'll just say he was robbed of an Oscar. I don't know who won this year. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure J.K. Simmons won for Whiplash, but that was supporting. I don't remember who won like Best Actor in 2014, but he didn't even get nominated. Like he should have at least been nominated. I think he should have won. This is a magnificent performance. It's his best performance. He's got a lot of great performances. It is his best performance, like hands down. He is so fantastic in this movie. He transforms like you don't even, and I mean, he lost like 20, 30 pounds to take on this role. You don't even realize it's Jake Gyllenhaal. You're not seeing Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie at all. You are seeing Lou Bloom throughout the entirety of this film. It is such a fantastic film. If you've never seen this movie, not saying you got to run out and get a $30 steelbook, but seek it out on streaming, like watch it somehow because it's such a fantastic film. Now let's get into the 4K. Okay, let's talk about the 4K. There's a lot to unpack here to digest with this 4K. This is a native 4K. It's got Dolby Vision and it's got HDR10 as well. Now, I do have the Blu-ray right here. The Blu-ray looks fine. It looks perfectly fine. Like there's nothing wrong with this Blu-ray. If you have this Blu-ray, if you're satisfied with the picture quality, then that's fine. But this is for people that really are into 4K and can really, or have the equipment to really be able to notice those more subtle differences. I do think that the actual like detail here is a lot better in 4K. I think there's a lot more, depth to the picture quality with that Dolby Vision, that HDR. I just think that there's a lot more detail. Everything's a lot clearer. There's a lot more clarity. There's a lot more definition in the faces. Like you need to see a lot more. But the thing about this movie, and I think people commented this when this was first announced, but half of this movie is shot digitally. So all the scenes at night, and they did this very specifically, they did it very deliberately. Like they wanted the movie to look a certain way at night. So they shot it digitally. And all the stuff during the day and everything that takes place inside and like his apartments, all that was shot on film. So this is a movie that has a combination of being shot on film and being shot digitally, and it kind of transitions back and forth, which is a very unique way to make a movie. You don't see that too often. That being said, all the stuff in the daytime, all the stuff in his apartment, like has that gritty, like grainy, filmic quality to it, and everything that's at night has a more digital look to it. And you can definitely pick up those differences even when you're watching it on Blu-ray. But in 4K, all the stuff in the daytime, like outside, looks fantastic and it has a perfect amount of grain. It looks great. It looks exactly how you would want a good 4K restoration to look. Very filmic, very natural, very true to probably how it was when they actually shot it. All the colors are great. Everything looks fantastic. Everything at night as well also looks great. It just looks different. It looks a little bit more digital. It's a little bit cleaner. It doesn't have as much grain in it. But it's a very slick presentation. Everything is, like I said, very clear, has a lot of clarity. With that Dolby Vision, that HDR, like he has that red car. That looks fantastic in 4K with the Dolby Vision. Those reds just kind of are highlighted and brought out just a little bit more, I feel like, in the 4K with the Dolby Vision than in the Blu-ray. In the Blu-ray, the colors just look a little bit more flat. So I do think the 4K in all aspects, whether it was shot on film or whether it was shot digitally, looks better and is brought to life in a way that it just wasn't on Blu-ray. I think that a lot of people, they'll watch the Blu-ray, they'll watch the 4K, and they'll be like, what? There's not really a big difference. And I would not really fault those people for saying that, especially if you don't have that higher end equipment. If you don't have an OLED TV, I've got a 65-inch OLED TV. I can kind of tell and make out those differences between a 4K and a Blu-ray and just what that 4K is doing for those contrast levels between the lights and the darks. An OLED, guys, look, if you don't have an OLED and you really want to get into 4K, you got to get an OLED because that's where you're going to see the big differences. But if you're somebody that's just like casually into collecting 4K and you maybe have this Blu-ray already, I don't think this is one that's really going to change your mind on the formats at the end of the day, even though I do think that Shout Studios did do a really good job. I will also say this Blu-ray is I think it's out of print because I looked it up on Amazon. It's going for like $30 on Amazon. Now there is 2 Blu-rays that came out and both of them are like $20 to $30. So it's really like, if you don't have this movie at all, like just go ahead and get the 4K because it's pretty much the same price that you'll have to pay to get the Blu-ray, the regular Blu-ray. But this is more for people that already have that Blu-ray and are trying to decide if they want to upgrade to this 4K. Now getting into the sound, they upgraded the sound here, guys. So sound junkies are going to be very happy with this. You got a Dolby Atmos, you got a Dolby True HD 7.1. You also got that DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 as well. And you've also got a 2.0. So they've got all the audio options here. I do think this is a movie that works really well, you know, with the Dolby Atmos. Now, I wouldn't call this an action film, but there are some shootout sequences. There are some high-speed chase sequences. Like there's a really good highway chase sequence with a lot of, you know, cars wrecking and things like that about halfway through the movie. That does sound great with the Dolby Atmos, but also just the quieter moments where they're just driving around, you know, the LA like night setting, just the sounds of the cars, the revving up, the stopping, the starting, all that stuff sounds great. And it's super immersive with that Dolby Atmos audio upgrade. So I think that people that have that full setup are going to be very satisfied with the audio upgrade here. So all good things when it comes to the audio. And going back to the 4K, the picture quality here, this is on a 100 gigabyte disc, the 4K, and the Blu-ray is on a 50 gigabyte disc, and the Blu-ray is actually an upgraded 4K scan as well. So even the Blu-ray in this set is going to be higher quality than the Universal Blu-ray. So let's get into the unboxing here, talk about this steelbook a little bit more. And I like the artwork on this, guys. I do like the artwork. I think it is, trying to see. So the CRP group did the artwork on this. I'm not exactly sure who that is. So I don't think it's bad artwork. I just don't think it really matches the vibe of this movie. This would make it look like it's like Fast and the Furious or Need for Speed. And like I said, there's a highway chase, but that's not really what the movie is. You know, I just don't think this movie captures like the seedy, or the artwork captures the seedy noir vibe of the film. But, because this movie, like the setting of this film is fantastic and the way that they capture it is just so magnificent. All right, so you take that off, you got the back of this. We can open this up, show you the full image if I can get it to focus. So you have the chase and the car wreck and all that stuff, which is great. You got some disc art on the inside. You got some interior artwork on the inside as well, which is just him holding the camera, which is fantastic. Some of the shots in this, just the way that he looks coming out of it. Like that one sequence where the guy's like getting out of the car. I don't want to spoil stuff, guys, but like he's just like kind of off to the side, like hiding behind this van, holding the camera. You see the light and you see it kind of shining on his face. He looks so creepy in that scene. He's so creepy in that scene. But yeah, I like this steelbook. It's a good steelbook. Getting into the special features, you got a new special feature here with the person that did the score. You've got James Newton Howard gives a really good interview in this. It's about 14 minutes long, and it is a brand new interview, so that's something new here. And he kind of goes into how Dan Gilroy instructed him to make the score feel a little bit more inspirational, which I thought was pretty interesting. And the movie does have the score and the sound does feel a little bit more upbeat, and almost like when Jake Gyllenhaal does something despicable and disgusting, it's almost like a triumphant moment. And that's because Dan Gilroy kind of instructed him to do it that way. He wanted to initially make it very dark, very sinister, like the music, but that's not what Dan Gilroy was going for. That's not what he wanted to do with this movie. So like the score is very like not what you would think it would be for this kind of a movie. And James Howard kind of goes into that, and it's very interesting. Then there's also a new audio commentary here, new audio commentary of film historian Joe Von Apen. And then you got the past audio commentary with Dan Gilroy, producer Tony Gilroy, and editor John Gilroy. So it's all the Gilroys together, guys, which is interesting. And then you have got a past feature called If It Bleeds, It Leads, Making Nightcrawler. And then you got a trailer. And that feature is about 5 minutes long, the making of Nightcrawler. And that is on the Blu-ray as well. And so is the past audio commentary with Dan Gilroy. So overall, guys, I think this is a good release. It's a solid release. I don't think it's going to make any best of the year lists or anything like that, but it's a really solid 4K upgrade. I think they did the best job that they could for what they were working with this film. Like I said, half the movie shot on film, half the movie shot digitally. I thought they did a good job. You know, the Steelbook, it's nicer in person. I like having it better in person. But yeah, overall, solid release. I still want Second Sight to tackle this. I want more features. I want like 5 or 6 new special features. I want all the fixins. I think this deserves like the ultimate collector's edition, a hardback book that's 150 pages. I want it all for Nightcrawler because it's such a great film. So if somebody else does it, I'll probably buy it again. But for now, I had to put my money where my mouth was. They put one of my favorite movies of the 2010s on 4K. I had to grab it. So yeah, decent release by Shout Studios. I think this is a very, very solid 4K upgrade, and one that I think is worth your money. $32 is not a bad price. So thank you all for watching. I'll link it down below if you guys are interested. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.